Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Cookie and Cream Podcast. I'm Mike Seamus Reed.
I'm Wayne Peoples.
What's going on, Cookie Monster?
Nothing. And you?
Nothing.
Fuck all, mate. Fuck all, mate. It's fucking Sunday afternoon, doing fuck all. Who have we got, though, dog? Introduce your friend.
Oh, dude. Hell yeah, man. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a hilarious stand-up comedian on the show, my good buddy Zane Helberg. Introduce yourself, Zane.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Zane Helberg, a hilarious stand-up comedian.
Perfect. Nailed it.
Zane, so, what's going on, brother? How you been, considering?
Oh, how I've been? I've been pretty good, dude. Aside from kicking COVID currently, I didn't expect that to have such crisp alliteration, by the way. I'm kicking COVID currently, but for the past week. But other than that, I don't know. I'm in Los Angeles. Shit's chill over here. Where I've been doing a lot of stand-up and traveling a lot. I know you guys don't really get to do much of any of those things right now, but yeah, the summer's been
Look
good.
At this motherfucker rubbing it.
The summer's been good here.
Wait a minute. You got COVID and you can still travel? Is that what you're saying?
No. I got COVID.
Man.
I got COVID 2/3. Yeah, that's how bad Trump fucked up our country. Is that even after he's gone, we can get COVID and travel.
You're that good of a comedian.
Yeah, they're like, he has to come. My dying wish is to see Zane Helberg.
It's worth it. How long have you had the vid, dude? What's that about?
I've had the vid for 9 days.
Shit.
Yeah, it sucks.
Shit.
Yeah, I had some body aches crept up last Saturday, and then it hit me like a ton of bricks, and I had a fever, a bad fever for 2 straight days, and then that kicked. And it was crazy. I didn't actually think that this was going to happen, but I lost my taste. I thought people were lying about that shit. I lost my taste, dude.
What about your sense of smell? That goes too, doesn't it?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not really. I don't really notice smells as much. I mean, I eat every day, right? So I was eating, and I was like, wait a minute, I don't really taste the garlic in this. And my girl was like, oh, this is very garlicky. And I was like, holy shit, I think I lost my taste. And then I've been eating all kinds of crazy shit. I had ice cream. Like chicken, barbecue, like all these weird things trying to taste. And for the past, I guess, since Tuesday. So yeah, since Tuesday, I haven't tasted a damn thing. It's crazy.
Damn.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah, that's actually, I don't think we should be shutting the world down for the loss of taste. But, it's just a weird side effect of this thing. But
it's a conspiracy by the Hershey Company.
Yeah, right.
If they can't taste the chocolate, they won't buy it.
Yeah, so I've been feeling like I had a bad cold for the past 5 days since I kicked the fever.
Well, we hope you can kick it sooner than later, bro.
Yeah, they say that as soon as my symptoms are done in the next couple days that I won't be contagious, and that's fine. I don't have anywhere to be for the next 5 days, so I should be just fine.
That's all right. You're here with us.
Yeah, I'm here with you guys, chilling.
So Zane, where we are in the state of New South Wales, just south of Sydney, obviously, we're on a full stay-at-home order. I wouldn't be shocked if this extends all the way toward the end of the year, but what I'm hearing now is like my wife's been out of work for 2 months, but I heard her work might try and open at the end of September with obviously strong restrictions and stipulations and that kind of shit, but other than that, I mean, I'm hanging. I know Wayne's hanging, and fucking, we just take it day by day here, man. But Zane, when you and I were briefly talking yesterday, you said that you felt like you had gotten it not necessarily locally, like in LA, but did you catch it? You think you caught it somewhere else on the road?
Oh yeah, I was at doing a show with a bunch of conservatives and anti-vaxxers, and I just have a sneaking suspicion that I caught it there. I wasn't being. I was wearing my mask a lot, but during the meet and greet afterward, I didn't have my mask on. It just didn't occur to me. Here, it's gotten to the point where when you're around a group of people and everyone seems healthy, the mask becomes you become a little bit lax on the mask. People are taking them down, talking, and it's become this thing where it's like, I'm not actually going to get COVID. No one around here has any symptoms, but I did, so I'm willing to bet there was 2 shows that I did last Wednesday and Thursday that had big crowds, and they were both in conservative areas where I would be willing to bet the vaccination rate was very low. So one of those spots definitely got me fucking good, dude.
See what you're doing, you conservative fuckers? You see what you're doing? You're infecting hilarious comedians.
Dude, the worst part is that they're the best crowds.
Really?
Yeah.
Do they know how to laugh?
It's so ironic.
That's
Well, yeah,
crazy
it's like, okay, San Diego, it's a bunch of surf bros and guys who drive pickup trucks and have tattoos, and they don't take any shit from the government. And I was in the military, and fuck anyone that's not in this country. And it's like very aggressive, but at the same time, 90% of my jokes are about my relationship and sex, and they love that stuff.
They love that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, men and women,
right.
Or they want to go hardcore with sex jokes. They love that stuff. So, especially when I'm talking about how terrible at sex I am, they love it. You know what I mean? So,
whatever makes conservatives feel better, they'll take it.
Yeah, I do shows in front of like
dude, it's Sorry, go ahead.
Oh,
Zane.
I was just gonna say I do shows in front of like Silver Lake audiences here, like really like liberal or woke audiences over here, and they just look at me. They're like, "Oh, you're some man with a mustache talking about sex. Gross.
You can't say that.
You can't have sex."
I find it so interesting. It's not only the cultural and political divide that a virus can cause, but also, and this is so relevant, what you just brought up with first of all, the difference in audiences with like you have a more sort of right-leaning audience, and then the other end of the spectrum, you might get this woke, like sort of extreme leftist audience. And here's what is so fascinating to me. A decade ago, I never in a million years would have found myself saying something like, oh, look at the conservatives defending freedom of speech and comedy.
Right. No, that's so true.
Like 10 years ago, I would have sounded like a fucking idiot saying that.
Dude, 10 years ago,
because it wouldn't have been
right,
true.
You would go to those shows at like Saturday early, and you get a bunch of either tourists or like older couples, and 10 years ago they were very tight. They did not want to talk about anything dirty at all. They just wanted to hear nice stuff, and those people do not exist anymore. The older couples are now dirty sons of bitches that grew up in the 80s and 90s, and they want to go hard.
Yeah, that's right.
And also, so what's even more relevant, and this just happened like 48 hours ago, I'm reading an article about Comedy Central in the United States removing an episode of The Office during a marathon that they just put on.
For what?
And it was okay, so the episode is called Diversity Day.
Fantastic.
Now, this episode, if anyone, first of all, anyone who hasn't seen the...
No.
Okay, so obviously The Office started in the UK. It was created by Ricky Gervais, and then an American company like purchased the rights and then did their own series, which was widely popular, of course, and starring Steve Carell. Now, there was an episode in the very first season, and I'm pretty sure it's like maybe the second episode of the whole series, called Diversity Day, and the boss, Michael Scott, is they're like putting on this seminar to promote diversity in the workplace. And Steve Carell's character is like doing a Chris Rock impersonation in front of everyone, and they're like horrified by it. So, but here's how ironic this is. The whole episode, the joke of the episode and what it's mocking is corporate correctness. It's about corporations going so far out of their way and taking all these extreme steps to try and promote like inclusivity and diversity and political correctness to the point where it just backfires.
Right.
And so here you have Comedy Central, a corporation, doing the exact thing this company, this show is making fun of.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's
It's
so
this
worried about everyone
extreme
being sad and triggered. It's insane. It's gone too far. The game is over. We've lost. They've won. It is no longer comedy is no longer a place to just say whatever the hell you want. It's even if what you're saying isn't hurting anybody. If you say certain words or certain topics, or you're a certain person talking about certain things, you're fucking shut down. You know, and there's only a voice for people who are the underdogs. If you can be considered an underdog in any way, then you're allowed to say whatever you want. But
I have a dream that one day white man and black man can say whatever they want on stage.
Well, you
and
know,
laugh
here's the thing. I can say whatever I want, but this is the thing. Comedy Central is not looking for guys like me right now, and that's fine.
That's right.
It's somebody else's turn to eat. That's just fine. I don't necessarily need Comedy Central to make a living as a comedian. That's just fine. You know what I mean? But
Would you with that said though, if you had some quote unquote offensive material and someone had quote unquote clean material, but you were funnier, would you be all right with not getting the gig? You know, if it's a comedy thing and the credentials
here's the
are being
thing, dude.
funny,
You know what the craziest part is? Yeah, no, I would not be fine getting the gig. I do feel slighted if I'm funnier and someone else who's got a cleaner set or more appropriate set gets to the front of the line. That does upset me. But at the same time, you know what the craziest part is? Is that my fucking set isn't even offensive, but it offends people sometimes. You know, if I talk as soon as I go, my girlfriend did this crazy thing. So often in Los Angeles, the audience, namely young women, look at me, especially in Los Angeles, off the bat, like as soon as I open my mouth, like I'm going to say something offensive and hateful. And it's not true. I have to so often win them over. You know, I have this joke that's completely made up. But I go, oh my God, I think me and my girl, and it starts off being like, I don't know if me and my girlfriend are going to make it. Right. That's how I open it up to kind of, to start telling this bit about this thing that this random fake fantasy girl does, but I put it in the first person so that it seems real and the joke's better, blah, blah, blah. It's like in the past couple months, I swear to God, at least 3 or 4 times, I go, oh my God, I don't think this relationship is going to work out. Or, oh my God, I'm really bad at relationships. And I get heckled like, shocker, no shit, could have guessed it, you know, just straight up. Like before I even do the bit, you know, I'm just getting prejudged as a fucking animal. Yeah.
By the women?
As a piece of shit. Yeah, just because I'm like white with a mustache and I got like an attitude and tattoos and stuff. Apparently,
next time just be like, shut up, bitch, and then be like, oh damn, I guess you're right.
Well, I mean, I've the jokes I tell a lot of them that are pretty tested. So like it's gonna hit. So when that happens, I'm like, no, you have to listen. I'll explain why.
Yeah.
You know, and then all of a sudden I've won them over with a joke that isn't offensive. but they're just ready. They want to be pissed off. They really do.
Yeah, see, that's fucked up. See, that's the type of people that shouldn't fucking be there, man. Like, they know that they're coming to a comedy show. So they should be there to laugh, but what they are there to actually do is to nitpick and find things
Oh
to
yeah.
say to you and about you that they don't necessarily agree with. Like, man, there's some shit that I heard comedians say that I don't agree with, but if it's funny, I'm still going to laugh at it because I
Mhm.
understand it's a joke. So what the thing is, like, Mike and I had this episode weeks ago now called Tough Crowd, where I had a shitty audience, and it was a lot of feminists and progressives and
He
shit like that.
had.
Dude, the absolute
If I could
worst, bro.
just say, Wayne, if I could just say, when Wayne started telling me this story about this very particular crowd, this was before we even we started recording the podcast. Wayne called me that night
Yeah.
after his set, and he was like shaking.
Yeah, dude.
Not shaking out of like fear or something. He was so fucking pissed that these people were even there.
Yeah.
And it was like imagine like a 90% woke audience who is there very specifically to tell you why you're not funny.
Yeah.
That was the audience Wayne fucking had, bro.
And
Damn.
the thing about it, like, fuck, man, like, I do it because I get enjoyment out of it. What they were there to do was to break me down, and that I don't appreciate that in any way, shape, or form. And no one out there, doing their craft or what have you, being an artist in whatever way, shape, or form, if you're not there to support, don't fucking be there in the first place. So
Right.
that's why, like, now, dude, like, I'll still say whatever I like, because if you actually take it as a joke, then you can actually find it funny. But if you take it for face value, then yeah, it might not be funny. But at the same time, like you said, you had a story that was completely made up. These stupid motherfuckers are getting mad about shit that's been completely fabricated.
Yeah.
You know? So what does that say about them? Like, I bet you're pissed off when the White House got bombed by those aliens. Fuck me. Will Smith must, put
Right.
him in another spaceship to come save the planet, because that was made up too. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to be mad at Independence Day, though, because the lead character is black. It goes against their rules.
Oh, that's right. Damn it. Damn.
It goes against their doctrine.
Goldblum was supposed to get the leading role, but he's like, no one can really understand your speech pattern that well. So
Look, I get it, dude. When, like, here's the thing. Like, I'll have a nuanced conversation about it. I think that it is a long time coming. Minorities, women, gay people, trans people, anyone has not gotten a fair shake over the past lifetime deserves more of an opportunity than a guy like me. I'll even with the opportunities that they get, I still have an advantage. I know that, and how I know that's true is I don't have a following at all. And in no way, shape, or form do I have, and does anyone know who I am? And I make my entire living from stand-up comedy. How about that?
there you go.
And then there's a bunch of people on Comedy Central who've been there a bunch of minorities and a bunch of hilarious people who've been on TV 12,000 times, and they cannot even sell one ticket. So I know that I have an advantage. However, and I also know that, like, punching down at minorities or women or gay people or trans people is also inappropriate. I don't think that it is. There's no reason to bully people who've been bullied their entire lives. I don't. So I feel like that.
Yeah.
With that being said, it just goes too far, because the people on the far left who, like you said, they come out and they're not there to have a good time unless they see someone that is exactly in the group that they are a part of.
100% a part of it, because I was 99.
Yeah.
The stuff that I was saying didn't go with what they were 99.999%. And the 0.0001%, that's what they harped on. you know.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
the thing is, too, like what you said about if people go out there and talk down to these groups, like that shit's not cool. If you're a bully comedian, that's not comedy. You're just a straight fucking bully, and you should be booed off stage. So it's kind of hard to find that, that area. I guess you could say. I guess it comes down to the comedian and the actual person as to how they come across on stage with what they say and how they say it as well. So I tell Mike all the time, like, dude, I'm mixed, so I'm black and white. I talk about crackers and niggers, and I could, cause I can. So I fucking do that shit in America. In Australia as an American because I can. Because it's something that is unique to what I can do, but it's something that really anyone can do. But it's just about how they come across and how they say it. Like, dude, it makes me laugh how oppressed certain white people are in this day and age that they can't say nigger. Do you know what I'm saying? That's a big oppression, dude. Now listen, the thing let me tell you this. The thing about it is blacks, you blacks, like no, like black people have been oppressed, okay? Not saying slavery and shit like that didn't happen. But like, yo, white people, some white people tremble over that. It's a word, man. A word in the dictionary. Now, whether it can be said, to mean this, that, and the third, to be friendly or a greeting, or to be derogatory towards someone. But yo, it's just crazy of the, I don't want to say control, but the mentality that have been set on normal, cool white people about just saying a word, even
Okay.
if it's like reciting
I'm not
lyrics.
saying it. I'm still. There's no way in hell you could get me to say that shit.
Dude,
Not in a
even
million. Not
Well,
in a
if I
million
may.
years.
see, that's what makes me, dude. It's funny.
If I may,
No, you may not.
um,
No, dude. No, absolutely, you may not.
if I may interject with the N word, hold on. No, so if I may, and just to sort of reiterate Wayne's point, if I can speculate on some of what Wayne is saying, it's not about a comedian or just any person in general. Just and especially specifically a white person. It's not so much about. Obviously, that word is so fucking awful, and obviously you shouldn't be saying it. But I think part of Wayne's point might be what if in a conversation, let's just forget about the stage for a second. Like, what if in a conversation, the word itself as a word is being discussed, even in an educational environment? I think maybe what Wayne could be getting at is it's the fear of it, even in an educational environment as well. Especially even if you're talking about how terrible it is, because it is. The fact that even if it's being taught in an educational environment about its history and why it's so fucking terrible and why it shouldn't be said. Like, I'll just give you an example. There was a professor who was fired not because he used the word in any type of derogatory way or was trying to be edgy or trying to be, funny in some fucked up dark way. It was an educational environment. It was about where it comes from, who began using it in a certain way to degrade black people. It was purely educational.
And it was a white, but he was a white
fired.
person. This was a white man doing this?
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
It was. Yeah, it was. He was fired for just specifically using it, and he only, and as far as I know, he literally used it one time in the entire lecture.
It's completely unnecessary.
And
he
was
doesn't have to do
fired.
that. There's no. Everyone's heard.
he has
Everyone's
to.
heard that word before, and it is worldwide. It is globally known that black people get to say that word and white people don't.
Yeah.
There's no reason for any. That's just,
Yeah,
dude.
Oh, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So that idiot should be fired. He should be fired and never able to teach children again, because he's that stupid to think that he could say that.
Well, it wasn't not that I'm gonna like die on a hill and like defend him. It wasn't. I just mentioned it wasn't children. These were actually adults
On like a college or something.
I'm not saying it.
Any fucking moron,
it's a little more.
any white guy who's dumb enough to say that shit on a college campus deserves to be fired because he's an idiot. That's just a stupid thing to do,
especially on an American.
Yeah, whether he should be able to or shouldn't be able to, he's a fucking idiot for doing it without thinking.
He's dumb for saying.
He thought that he was not going to get fired. In what world? In what fucking world is that guy not getting fired for saying that?
He must have had tenure.
If you polled every single teacher in the United States, every single one of them except that guy and some chick who's blowing her student would tell you that they shouldn't say that word. There's probably 2 people in the entire country who would think that that was okay. Fuck.
I don't see a problem.
I find it interesting.
Well, you know what?
I just found it interesting.
You're half black, so you can say whatever you want. That's just the way it goes around here.
I think anyone should be able to say whatever they want. That's.
Well,
I don't know.
But it's a different argument. It's a separate argument to say, and I understand this. Okay, if you take freedom of speech in general, if you generalize it and you look at the whole thing objectively speaking, any human being should be able to make the physical and audible motion to produce a sound that means something. Okay, fine. That's a separate argument. I think where a lot of the there's a lot of layers now, though. See, it's an onion that you start to peel because intent matters. I think intent matters. Yeah. I think.
Well, let me put it to you this way: the first rule. Let's put it to let's make a metaphor that we can understand as men. Okay, the first rule of Fight Club is what? You don't talk about Fight Club. Okay, right. That doesn't mean you can't talk about Fight Club. That means that does not mean that you can't, like, when you're hanging out with your boys, talk about Fight Club, or after Fight Club, be like, hey, that was a pretty good Fight Club. There's an unwritten, like, rule that you don't go out into the world and just talk about it because it's going to cause a problem for the Fight Club, right? In the same way that you can say whatever you want, you can say whatever words you want, but there's an unwritten rule in society that has been written for many, many decades that you just don't go out and say the N-word if you're a white person because it's going to cause a problem.
100%.
So here's the thing about, and I'll bring it back to that. That was a good point that you made, Zane. But I'll bring it back to comedy because we're all comedians. How many black comedians always talk about white people? And they always do the white people. Oh, well, I had to go down to the superstore and I had to, buy my cologne. Right? Always. But as soon as a white person would be like,
buy my cologne.
As soon as a white person would be like, man, I was just chilling with my dogs. You know what I'm saying? They get looked at. So again, with that said, I think it should all be okay. But when that idiot from Seinfeld went up and did what he did on stage, that's different. So that's about the delivery. That's about the delivery as well as the content. It wasn't very well done, regardless of what he was saying or what he wasn't saying. But how many black comedians you see out there ripping on white dudes? I feel for you guys, man. I feel for you guys in your colognes. Just
well, here's the thing: it's generally known as if you fuck with white people, that's punching up. Because we're the majority.
You took the words out of my mouth.
We're privileged. We're the majority. So if the oppressed minority punches up to the non-oppressed majority, that's fine in theory. Yeah, we should all be on equal footing, but that just isn't what it is right now. That's why women can talk shit about men all day long. You go on Twitter and women can rip guys all the fucking live long day. But as soon as a guy starts doing it to a woman, that's not okay because it's punching down. However,
it's even worse when it's a black woman. if I could say, because if it's not about them being a woman, it's about them being black. If it's
Sure.
not about them being black, it's about them being a woman. Like, dude, like maybe it's just you're a shit person as an individual.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that shits me, man.
Well, I think individuality matters, yeah.
Yeah.
But if I may, now let's check this out. So, and Zane has a great point about. I mean, obviously, forever, especially like if you go back to Richard Pryor, and the pioneering African American comedians who
black gorilla
would just. who would just like take giant shits on white people. First of all, as long anyone with a sense of humor, and specifically white people, we were always laughing at that shit anyway.
Yeah.
Now here's what's interesting though, and Zane has a great point about it being considered. If you look at sort of the rules, the cultural rules, punching up, and then. Here's what's interesting, though. If you consider it the other way, if we consider when a man starts making jokes about women, or if a white individual starts making taking a couple of cracks at minorities in a humorous way, when that's considered punching down, here's what I find interesting. If it's considered punching down by the very people who are a part of the group that the joke is about, is that individual somehow admitting and putting out there that your group is inferior somehow?
Well, Dave Chappelle would say that.
Different.
Dave Chappelle would say that you're not part of the group until we can make fun of you. And that's why he made these...
Oh, I didn't even know he said that. That's
he was making... I heard that part in an interview, but in one of his more recent specials, he was doing jokes about trans, and he made it a joke about a black guy, wanting or transitioning into a Chinese man, and how his wife hated that joke. And it was a bit from 3 years ago, 2019, the special, but it was
special?
right. I remember the story he told,
but it's like Dave Chappelle can do it. How about this? Dave Chappelle can do it because he's fucking hilarious. Bill Burr shits on women and talks about feminism, and it's fucking hilarious. You know,
it's so good.
Sam Tripoli, where I got freaking COVID at his show, that dude has made jokes about women and different races for years, but every single time he does, it is so hysterical that you can't even deny it. Chris D'Elia in one of his first specials did a joke about how when black people laugh, they all run around, and he was running around.
All the niggas on the floor. Someone must have said some funny shit.
And dude, that was a very it's a tough joke to do, but he fucking nailed it. Not everyone can fucking do that though, because it's a lot of times, because if you miss the mark, you sound like a fucking bigot.
That's right. That's true. And that's why it has to come across well and with the delivery.
You have to murder with that shit.
Yeah. Like Dave Chappelle said, man, if we can't make fun of you, you're not a part of the group. And I agree with that. But... Yeah, hell yeah. Like, you want to be, everyone's saying, I want to be equal. Okay. Don't complain when I make fun of this person and then I make fun of you. Don't say, you can't say that about me, but you can say that about them. Where's the equality there? Like, the thing is, and I always say it, it's just jokes, man. Okay? If I wanted to go out there and offend you, trust me, I fucking could.
Right.
And I'm sure both of you could do the same, or any comedian could easily do the same. But people listening to Mike and I, and people listening to Zane at his stand-ups, know the fact that they're jokes. And if we wanted to fucking offend you, you could actually be able to tell the difference. Right. And we're not going out there doing that. So stop shitting on our craft because you got to stick up your fucking ass. All right? Don't buy the goddamn ticket. Give it to your friend who has a bit of a personality and a bit of sense of humor, so they can actually enjoy themselves and get something out of it.
Right.
You twat.
Well, and just to sort of wrap it back around, just to kind of tie it up in a bow, I've always believed that intent matters. I think your
Yeah.
intentions matter a lot.
That's right.
Especially, okay, if it's a comedy show, it's a comedy show. So already comedy is the intention. It says it right on the ticket. Comedy's the intention.
Yeah.
Laughing is the intent of what is being performed here. Like this is the effort for this setting is to get a giggle out of you.
Yeah.
That's what you're paying for. So that's one thing. And that, but of course, the other end of the spectrum, obviously, if you're working in an office environment, I understand maybe John Smith working at Coca-Cola, the 45-year-old white guy, probably shouldn't walk in on Monday morning and recite a bit he heard watching Chris Rock.
Yeah.
Right.
Tambourine.
Like
Tambourine.
maybe it's not the greatest idea because first of all, he won't do it justice anyway, and second of all, it might have a couple of choice words involved.
And that's the environment.
It's common sense.
Yeah, common sense. But these people that go out
Common
there
sense matters.
and that are offended by this shit, it's the same like you walk into a strip club and you're offended that you see naked bodies.
Right.
Okay?
Right, and yeah, that analogy
That's
does make perfect sense.
Super simple. You know what the fuck's you're going in. You know what's going to happen. Okay?
Right.
So if you don't want it, don't put yourself in that environment. Fair enough. Fair enough if you have that opinion, man. Don't come around my block then. You feel me? So, and at the same time too, we're not going around like Jehovah's Witnesses knocking on people's doors saying, "Hey, have you heard the one about the Jew?"
Right.
You know what I mean? We're not doing that shit. That's what pisses me off.
Actually, I think you may have just accidentally invented a brilliant new form of comedy, door-to-door comedy.
I will do door-to-door comedy. just improv, looking at the person. Just like the lawn's not mowed. No paint on the house. Oh, so single mother, are you?
So let's switch gears just a little bit. We'll still for a sec. We'll keep it on comedy though. So Zane, I do wanted to ask you about something very specific, and especially for our audience listening. For a little while now, bro. Like I know you've been doing this really, I guess for lack of a better word, I'm going to say this really niche thing with stand-up. You have found yourself a very niche market, and you're a touring comedian, and part of this niche market that you have discovered, well, I'll tell you what, why don't I let you explain what you started doing as of a couple years ago, and just sort of explain it to our audience real quick.
Okay, I'll give the abridged version because this could be like a when I get interviewed on podcasts, that could be a whole hour thing. So very quickly, I now currently, so I'm sober. I've been sober almost 9 years, and I sell tickets to people in the recovery community. So that's where I am today.
What sort of, like, is it drugs and alcohol?
Drugs and alcohol. Yeah, I was a blackout drunk, and I just did every drug or whatever that I could get my hands on, and I haven't. I've been clean and sober since 2012.
Congratulations, man.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man. It's great. I love it.
Great.
And in 2000 so very quickly, in 2017, January 2017, like actually right before I came to Australia, and I was in Australia for when Mike's daughters were born.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was. We got really lucky.
He was here.
I mean, luckily that they came out healthy, and they're now grown, healthy.
He didn't
happy
get lucky.
children.
He was expecting one. He got fucking two.
He got 2 kids, and they came early,
Right.
and I was there for it. Me and my ex-wife were there for it. It was great. So actually, right when I got back from Australia, I had this idea where I was like, okay, I'm going to put on a benefit show for people in the recovery community, and it's going to be a big free thing. I'm going to call sober living houses, and I'm going to invite them down to come see a comedy show. And a friend of a friend heard about what I was doing and called me and was like, hey, I work at a hospital. I can't bring my people out because they're detoxing. Can you come to the hospital and bring a group and tell some jokes? And I was like, okay. I was like, that sounds like a terrible idea. But I went, and there was there they were like he pitched it like, we got 27 beds. They're all going to come. It's going to be great. 2 people showed up. One guy who hadn't done heroin in like 3 days, and then one older lady who was like kicking pills and wine or something like that. And they were in their nightgowns, and they were sitting in the rec room, and we gave them a show, and they loved it. This kid loved it so much. He was like, oh my God, I can't believe I've never seen a comedy show before. I didn't think I was ever going to be able to have a good time without putting heroin in my body. This was awesome, blah, blah, blah.
That's cool, man. That's really
wow.
fucking cool.
So it was sick.
That's good.
It was awesome. And I thought, okay, well, that went way better than I expected. They wanted me to come do this thing once a week here. And so I did that every Friday night for a couple of years. Now, right away, I was like, I realized that there was like a market for this. Like, if this detox enjoyed this and wanted me to have this entertainment, there must be other rehab facilities that would want to have this type of entertainment at their spot. So I started calling places, and I quickly got a handful of clients. And at the same time, the job I was working at was really pissing me off, and my boss was really angry that I had just taken a 2.5-week vacation in New Zealand and Australia, and he was a dick. So I in April, once I had gotten a couple of these rehab clients together, I put my notice in at work, and I just started hitting it fucking hard. So in 2017 and 18, just every day I made thousands and thousands of phone calls. I called every hospital and rehab facility in California. And after a year and a half, I got it up to like 25 different little rehab comedy shows a month. That was all I was doing. It was just all over the state of California, just in these living rooms doing shows for 3 people, or at an office building doing a show for 15 women. And, it was just every single scenario that you could think of. I was out in Riverside at a ranch doing shows for a big group of 40. There were some really fun shows, and there were some really nightmares. And the crazy thing is like, I knew that this was not going to be a sustainable business, because I was doing all these shows, and then I wasn't able to make a ton of phone calls, and it was difficult to grow the business. And then in October of 2018, there was just a perfect storm of things that cut my business in half. There was a fire in Malibu. A couple places got shut down. I offended somebody at some place, and then one place just couldn't afford to do it anymore. And we went from like 25 shows to like 10 in like a weekend, and it just devastated me that I was like, oh my God, there's no way I'm gonna be able to build this back up like that again without working twice as hard for another year and a half. Fuck that. So I was devastated for like a second, and then I didn't know what to do. And finally, after 2 full years of going there every Friday night, that hospital shut its doors on the detox facility. So my regular weekly gig was gone. And now I was like, oh my God, I need to pay my rent, and I don't know how I'm going to do it. And I had made this promise to myself that I was going to do stand up and earn a living doing it, or starve, and that I'd been doing it for a year and a half. And so my thought was, okay, fuck it, I got to go out of state. And so I rented a comedy club for the night in Phoenix, Arizona, and I called every sober living and rehab in the state and was like, yo, I'm putting on a show in 3 weeks. It's an all sober night. Come on out, buy these tickets. And I sold the thing out in like a week. And they were stoked. They were so stoked. And I brought this kid, Aaron, who opens for me, and I brought Nate Hurd, who Mike knows, who's like one of the most hilarious dudes ever. And we crushed it.
Wayne, so Wayne has seen Underbelly Blues. So Wayne Nathan Hurd is the albino kid,
Fuck, dude.
who's great.
Oh,
He's so funny.
Both
He's
of
great.
you were great. So that was my first introduction to you, Zane. Not to interrupt your story, but that was my first introduction to you.
Oh, seeing Underbelly Blues.
Yeah, bro. And
That's total shit show.
It's a total.
I wish I was in your shoes, sitting on the couch in your apartment while the lady who played your mom was just going off. That would have been so epic to be a part of.
I was so angry at her. She would not let me get a word in edgewise, dude.
She fucking did it. You were just sitting there like coughing it, but she just kept going and fell over. A tit came out and like shit. Okay,
dude, she was fucking insane. That woman. Oh my god,
she was.
Dude, like a year later, she tried to sleep with me, and
there.
I was like, "Fuck no." This is what she sounded like. She's like, Mr. Helberg, it was just so fine working with you. I would like to make love to you. I was like, holy shit, get away from me.
Yeah, only if you put on the wig from set.
Oh my god, I hated her so much. Dude, had she been nice at all, I might have thought about it, but she was so the worst.
Oh, no.
She was the worst.
But you did good, man. Hats off to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So continue, man. So, all right, so you do this massive sold out gig in your
I sold 100
state.
tickets in
Everyone
Phoenix,
comes
and I did like a 45-minute set, and we had a great time. We had a really great time. And then this was the new method. It was like, okay, I'm going to find a small theater, because the comedy club actually took too much money. So I was like, I want a small theater in a city that has a good recovery community that I can fly to, that's cheap. And that's the formula. If I can get the thing done for less than like $700 or $800 and get there, then it's worth it. So I started picking cities out, and we were just rocking and rolling all through 2019. And then I went to Scotland for the Edinburgh Fringe Fest, and then came back and toured some more. And then the pandemic hit, and I ended up doing it all over Zoom during the pandemic. And I would just hit up all these rehabs. This is actually what saved my life. It was actually my fiance Adrian's idea, but she's like, why don't you just call them up and see if they want to do this shit over Zoom? But during the major lockdown, I called every rehab in the country and convinced a ton of them to let me do my stand-up act over Zoom to the rehab clients, like in their living room. So they would put me up on their television. Oh, wow. Yeah. And it sucked, man. And it was really difficult, but
that's a tough way.
Bro.
Boy, dude.
I needed to make a living.
I mean, look. No, I know. I get. No. Your efforts,
dude,
we respect 100%. But there's no way that couldn't suck.
Well,
that's right.
to be honest, after about a month, I did so many of them, I got used to it, and then there were actually some good shows. It was bizarre. Like if you had to do, the timing was a little different, and I would like pick the phone up and like do act outs and like use my phone in certain ways.
Okay.
It became a whole different fucking art form, to be honest. But
it sounds like a production, more of a production.
Because I remember
weird.
when everything first started, I remember watching some clips of not even shit comics. I'm talking like some heavy hitters doing Zoom stuff, and Jesus, it was like
out the ass.
It was hard. It was really.
I think
hard
I did
to
200
30-second clip.
I probably did 200 Zoom sets.
And dude, mad respect. I mean, dude, seriously, like, the effort. Everyone should respect the effort being put in. I'm just trying to put myself in your shoes. It like sucked. You're so used to.
It sucked, dude.
Yeah, I mean, there's just to try and adapt.
I would say probably 10 out of the 200 were fun.
Performance.
10 out of the 200 were fun. But
how many of the 200 were you wearing pants?
0.
0 question.
That was the best part. I put that shit up in my fucking bedroom. I had a little curtain up, and I would sit down. I wouldn't even stand. Fuck them. and I was always not wearing pants.
See, awesome. I like that. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Just comfortable in your own
So,
environment.
so Zane, so just fast forwarding to like right now. I mean, obviously you've been in your house for 9 days or whatever,
Right.
being COVID positive. But okay, so this Laugh to Live.
Well, okay,
That's
so
what your foundation is called,
well,
right?
it's not a foundation; it's a business. People always think because it's called Laugh to Live that it's a nonprofit, but it's not. It is my. It's just the
Oh,
name
okay.
of my
Well, guilty.
for-profit. It's just the name of my for-profit business. I don't. I mean, I don't bother correcting people, but like, I'm definitely. This is. I first. It's for money 1,000%, and I'm not making a lot of it, so I don't have any problem correcting people because it definitely
Okay.
it definitely feels like a charity sometimes because I do a lot of work for very very little to no money.
Right.
But yeah, it started out. It was called Laugh to Live, and the whole program was about going into rehabs and doing stand up there. And I got the name because there's a musical group. Called Rock to Recovery, and they do a music version of what I do and have for many years. And so I
Mhm.
thought, well, this will
Oh, cool.
be good. Get a little alliteration going, and when people go, "Oh, Laugh to Live, what's that?" I can go, "Oh, like Rock to Recovery that come in and do the music with you guys. Well, I do it with comedy." And we joke and we tell stories, and if they want to tell some jokes too, they can do it. That's fine. If they feel like they want to write some comedy and call me, and they can get up and do a set when I come in. You
So
know.
you give people the opportunity, so it's more like an open mic instead of a show.
No, it's definitely more like a show, but I do give them the opportunity, and they rarely take it.
Oh, okay, okay. But that's
Hmm.
good that you actually give people the opportunity to kind of take that leap, I guess.
Yeah, there have been a couple people who've gotten up and told some jokes. And the nights in the hospital when it was all the people detoxing, that was the best, dude, because they're just like
Yeah,
fresh off like 3 days sober or barely, like they're 3 days off heroin or Klonopin, and they're taking detox medication, and they're fucking crazy, and they're all wearing hospital gowns and flip flops, and they want to get up and tell stories. Those guys
yeah,
are ready to talk some shit and tell some
yeah.
jokes. And dude, those were some of the best nights, man.
I
Best
bet
nights.
I could imagine they would be, man. When you see someone kind of switch over and I guess kind of show a side of themselves that they may or may not have shown anyone else,
Oh yeah,
that'd be super cool. That'd be
yeah, that
super
was rad.
cool. So you're doing good work, man. I just want to say, I know I don't know you that well, but Mike's told me what you do, so I just tip my hat off to you, man. I'm glad
Oh,
that there's
thank you.
someone out there like you doing what it is that you do.
I appreciate that. I mean,
Yeah,
full
bro.
disclosure, it's for money. I'm no saint. I just wanted a place to tell jokes,
Mhm.
and the people in the recovery community just seem to connect with me. And you know all the time, like I have a guy who sponsors my tour, this guy who works for this company called the Gooden Center, so they pay all my tour expenses. And every time we do like the news or we have an interview or anything like that, he's always trying to be like, "Oh, you're changing people's lives and shit," and it's like not that at all. I just tell dirty jokes to people who do drugs, and I just say a bunch of fucked up shit. It's like I'm definitely not trying to change anybody's life. I've just found a niche of people who will come see me, and laugh at my sick fucking shit.
Well, if you think about it, though, I have the perspective of, I think whether you know it or not, there's a part of what you're doing that is actually changing some lives. And let me just explain. So, especially like, you're talking about like people who are just like 3 days off of some hardcore shit, but even someone who's 3 years off of some hardcore shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, when they're watching someone perform and perform well to a group with that sort of background, and the fact that you're at this point close to 9 years sober, they're watching someone who made it 9 years without touching the shit and is doing something and is traveling. Like they are watching someone do what they at one point And even in that moment, thought, there's no fucking way I could ever do anything successful because I'm so fucked
Right.
with this addiction.
Yeah.
But they're watching you do your craft and perform, and you've made it.
Yeah.
They're watching someone who's made it.
That's right.
That's actually
There
that's a very
has
good
to
point.
be
Yeah.
there has to be some sort of influence there.
You're definitely
Sure.
opening people's eyes.
Okay.
Unless you get that one asshole in the crowd that's like, this dude's been sober for 9 years and he's still in the rehab facility.
Yeah. I thought you'd branch out by now,
He's like,
asshole.
what the fuck is going on here? But no,
Yeah, but
Hilarious.
there's no way that you have not inspired at least a handful of people.
That's right.
There's no way
Sure.
that has not
Okay.
happened.
that's right, bro.
All right, I'll
That's
take
right.
it.
And whoever's sponsoring you, they wouldn't be sponsoring you if they didn't think you weren't about shit either.
Yeah, and again, who's this person in there?
His name's Benji.
Because
He works for a company
Yeah.
called the Gooden Center, and it was so funny, dude. Like, honestly, okay, so this was right before the pandemic, or the Christmas before the pandemic. So during Christmas, I always get these days now hired to do like a rehab facilities Christmas party or some version of that, right? And so I'm in the middle of Orange County, and I get hired to do a Christmas party for industry professionals. And they're like, there's going to be like 80 people there. It'll be a really good crowd, blah, blah, blah. I show up, and the room is big, and it's a big conference room, and it's set up for maybe 100 people. And there's room in the place for maybe 200, but it's set up for 100 people. 12 show up. Okay.
Damn.
I'm at the one.
sounds like comedy to me.
I'm at the long end. I'm at the far end, and everyone is sitting on the couches at the end of the fucking room,
Why do they do
like
that?
far away,
Christ.
Why do
far
they
enough
do that?
away that you're like, are we having two different conversations here? Like, what the fuck? And I bombed for like a straight hour, just bomb, dude. And so I'm doing crowd work and roasting them. None of the jokes are working. A couple things are hitting when I talk shit about this guy or that guy, and I'm sweating, and I'm like, oh my god, this is a fucking nightmare. Give me my money. Get me the fuck out of here. And this guy Benji comes up to me, and I thought he was full of shit. He was like, that was amazing. He's like,
You would think he's full of shit.
I was like, this dude
yeah.
is so full of shit right now. He's like, that was amazing. I can't believe you just did that. That was incredible. So funny. I want to sponsor you. And I was like, okay, but I
What?
like patted him on the back and was like, all right, I'll talk to you later. And a month later, after I completely forgot about it and had chalked it up to him being full of shit, he called me and was like, yo, dude, remember that amazing comedy show you put on? I want more of that.
What?
Yeah,
That's
it was
dope.
wild. Yeah, so
Well, there you go. You
That's
never know where your
hilarious.
opportunity is going to come from, man.
No, you don't. Because it was tough, man. I was having to put like 2 or 3 shows together, and just to make financial sense, and try to cover all the expenses in one trip. And it was really difficult to make a living doing that. But now with a sponsor that they can sponsor like 1, maybe 2 shows or trips a month. God,
That's
it
awesome.
makes my life so much easier, dude. Holy
Yeah, I
cow.
bet.
Those guys, the
I
Gooden Center.
imagine. Yeah.
Anyone wants to get
Yeah,
sober
hey,
in
fuck yeah,
California,
shout out.
call the Gooden Center. They will
There you
hook you
go.
up. They're doing
There
good
you go.
work over
Shout
there.
out.
What I'll do, I will absolutely include a link in the description of this podcast to the.
Yeah,
Gooden
you
Center
know
for
anyone
sure.
who needs help, they will take good care of you. They're a nonprofit, and they work with all different types of insurances and different types of levels of finance. You know, like if you can afford it, great. If not, then they'll figure it out for you.
That's good, man.
Fuck yeah. So, dude, that's awesome. And keep doing what you're doing for sure. And congrats on, going on 9 years, bro. Like,
Thanks, dude.
there's no, I mean, even being that far into sobriety, like I
weird.
can imagine, it's probably not the easiest thing. That's just my speculation. Probably not the easiest thing to accomplish in the world. So, much respect.
Thank you.
So, fellas, we're gonna change gears here, and when I say change gears, I mean there's no segue here. This is a complete fucking 180. So just to put it in context, Zane, every so often we have fans that write into us, and
Oh shit!
The point
We have one
is,
fan. Or two. We've had two so far.
we always put out there that if anybody ever wants to write into us and suggest topics or just whatever, write in just in general and say what's up, they can.
Yeah.
Now, there is a very particular mystery fan out there that we've had for months now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this particular fan goes by the name of Mad Dog.
Mad Dog.
Mad Dog.
Yeah.
He's a mystery
And
fan?
Mad Dog has... we don't know who he is.
Oh.
But all we know is that Mad Dog is located in Australia. We know that just based on some of his writings. Mad Dog writes into us regularly.
Yeah.
And he always writes us a letter with like a suggestion of topics. And Mad Dog always actually includes his own story
Which is awesome.
inside of the letter
Yeah.
based on the topic. So I have in front of me a letter.
He's always so
from
polite
the-
too. He goes, "Dear Cookie and Cream." Like,
Yeah, he's very polite.
I'm surprised like he doesn't send like a $10 like gift card in the email too, like your grandmother would send you. Dear Cookie and Cream.
I've written you a check for $13 for your birthday. So I have in front of me a letter from the Mad Dog himself, and
Okay.
it goes as follows.
Okay.
Dear Cookie and Cream,
See, told you.
I'm keen to know more about the nude running culture in the United States.
Mm.
What was the usual modus operandi for the average nude run in America? Was it a party trick or post-football grand final celebration or more of a college thing? My story this week is titled Memoirs of a Teenage Nudist. The Wind Beneath My Willy.
Dude, Mad Dog is a sick fuck. He's jerking
Dude.
off to this right now. He's listening to you read
He's
his
awesome.
story, and he's running naked right now with his cock in his hand.
Oh yeah, I hope so.
I would expect nothing less. During my later teenage years, my friends and I were avid nude runners. We started out on the same path as most in this pursuit, running through house parties, a quick dash down an empty street, through a crowd at the local footy match, etc. After a while, though, it became less exciting, and we weren't really getting the same kick out of it as we had at the start. Oh, that's kind of like doing drugs. We had to up the ante somehow. After a much deliberation, we came to the conclusion that the humor and thrill would be found in the regular, mundane parts of life. The plan was to choose some absolutely normal activities to do,
Yeah.
but then add nudity into the mix for a laugh.
Okay. Like what, dude? I want to hear these.
Like taxes? Like what the fuck is he talking about?
Well,
table
to this end, the following... So he provides a list.
Okay. See?
A list of acceptable regular activities to be done nude.
All tested.
Good for him.
To this end, the following list is of some of the things we did completely naked. Filling up a tank of gas at the petrol station. Okay, that's like first on the list.
Dude, they got cameras.
That's
down.
hey, no pun intended, but that takes balls.
How did this
to
guy not get
actually
arrested?
Fill up, right? To fill up your fucking gas. tank
How
naked?
is there more to this list? How is he
And then
not
do you-
how is he not immediately arrested after first thing on the list and now going
Yeah,
door
for
to
real.
door to tell people that he's a
got
fucking
more.
sex pest?
Do you
How
go
is
in
it
and
possible?
pay for it, or do you gas and go? Like, what's the?
Did
what's-
he, well, let me a quick question. Did he pump hard? Was he soft or was he hard?
Bomb it. Pump it, the diesel. Yeah. Put it in there. It's so wet. Oh, it's so tight. I do Arnie every once in a while. He comes out.
Fantastic.
So filling up a tank of gas at the petrol station, ordering and picking up food at the McDonald's drive-thru,
Damn, dude.
mowing the front lawn,
God.
checking the letterbox for the Daily Mail,
Okay.
walking the dog. I mean,
What? What?
Your neighbors must be cool as fuck, Mad
Dude,
Dog.
if I saw
don't know
some
how you're not
naked
in
guy
prison.
walking his dog in my neighborhood, I'd kick his ass.
Yeah, I'd probably.
I'd be like, what the
depends
fuck
on
are
My
you
the
fucking
doing?
dog.
children live here, asshole.
I don't even have kids, but I'd say that. I'd be like, my fucking kids live here. And then I'd
What if he
punch him.
just What if he just had a leash wrapped around his cock? He's like, I'm walking my wiener.
No,
It's a
okay, that
wiener
I would
dog.
respect.
We would not be calling the
No.
police if that was the case.
No.
Let's see. Watering the garden, washing the car.
So basically chores. He could have just written chores. This is not. This is too
But then
many
it's-
subsets to this list here. For number one,
It's true.
go to the gas station. Number two, chores.
Yeah. The last few sound
Let's
like
see.
chores.
This one. Teeing off on the first tee at the golf course.
Now that's something.
Now that is brave, Mad Dog. That is brave, sir.
Be like, the wind's
and-
coming from the north, fellas. Just watch. It's coming from the north. You just, instead of
That
flicking
you
your
definitely
finger,
have to be hard for.
my erection's throwing
put
off my
the-
swing.
He puts his wet tip into the air, and he's like, "Yep, definitely northwest."
Yep, northwest at about 12 kilometers an hour. Just watch out for that.
And finally, and this I have a lot of respect for, answering the door to Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh, good for you. Good for you, Mad
That
Dog.
that I love.
There
That
you
I
go.
like a lot.
That I love.
Did you invite them in? That's the question. Answering the door.
That is the question.
Do you
yes.
invite them in for the full spiel?
Yeah.
I think they have to
Can
come
I
in.
talk to you? Can I talk to you about our Savior, the Lord Jesus Christ? Yes, please. By all
you
means.
may.
Come in. And what if he invited his 12 friends over? They're all sitting on the couch. Oh, we've been waiting all day for you boys. Like, oh shit.
Come on in for tea and crumpets.
Crumpets.
And he ends the letter with, surprisingly, these antics only resulted in being taken home in the back of a paddy wagon,
Okay.
which is basically British for the police car.
Yeah.
Once or twice. Thank Christ there were no camera phones back in the 90s.
Oh, that's
this
how
was a
he got
90s
away.
shtick.
Got away.
That's
with
how
it.
he got away with most of it. This was a 90s shtick.
Right. Yeah, couldn't do that shit now.
So related to that, I have one quick story I can say, and it doesn't even involve me. It actually involves my brother Steve.
Hey, Steve.
So, yeah, shout out to Steve. What up, Steve? I remember way back in the day, we were kids, and this was actually, ironically enough, this was the 90s as well.
Mhm.
Steve would have been, I want to say, maybe 10 years old. And he was having a bath, right? This was in the middle of the summer, and my mom had like walked out of the bathroom to check something for a second. She was probably cooking dinner or some shit. Had left Steve to himself for a second, and then the bells from the ice cream man start ringing in the neighborhood. And Steve hears the ice cream bells, right, at 10 years old, and he gets really excited. He leaps out of the bathtub and runs down the stairs. He runs out of the fucking house past my mother and runs out the door across the front lawn into the street where other kids were lining up where the ice cream man had parked.
Dude.
And Steve stood there in line completely butt-ass naked.
Soaking wet.
Soaking wet.
That's incredible. That is absolutely incredible.
And dude, all like some of these kids' parents were standing there, and they were like, everyone knew each other back in the '90s in the
course.
neighborhood. Everybody was just like, they were like, Steven, like, what are you doing? And he's just like, I'm trying to get ice cream.
Yeah, dude.
It's like, what do you mean? What am I doing? And I think back to that. My mother like comes running out of the house with a towel.
That's
Trying
hilarious.
to wrap him up, and she's like apologizing to everybody.
my
She's like, "Oh my
God.
god, like I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry."
Steve, what a
But
dirty
everybody's
dog.
like laughing their ass off. Yeah, right. Everyone's laughing their ass off. But in hindsight, I think back to that, and what actually makes me giggle the most is he's standing there naked, and I'm like, how was he expecting to pay for the ice cream he was ordering?
With
Hey,
that ass,
you have to ask
baby.
Steve.
In
With that ass, that sweet,
With
sweet
that
ass.
ass.
I'm giving him that peep show.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But other than that, I myself, I've never had, even in my early 20s or even visiting college campuses, never had a nude run. Never had the bravery to actually run anywhere
Yeah.
naked. I had friends who did it all the time, and I just couldn't understand it. But
Well, my first.
certainly not me.
I'll let you finish it out, Zane. If you've got a story, I'll go first if that's all right.
I don't. I do not have
I
a
don't?
story.
You don't? I've
Nope.
got all right. I've got a quick one. See, you're conservative. That's good. That's really good. I appreciate that. You keep your dick and balls to yourself. That's fantastic. Or you might be like me. If people want to see it, they got to pay. Anyway, my story is I wasn't actually introduced to fucking nudie runs till I came to Australia. Like, I remember living in Canberra and trying out for this footy team, this rugby team, and we had like the boys' night at the club that we were sponsored by, and like, oh, we're gonna do a nudie run, mate. Like, yeah, you want to do a nudie run? And I'm just like, nah, son. Like, I'm good. I'm like, I'm not about running around naked. But I wanted to make an impression, and they're like, "Oh, come on, mate, you can do it." I'm like, "No, you guys go first, and then I'll come later." Anyway, it was fucking winter time too, man. Like, guys out there, when it's winter, man, you're not, you ain't working with your full
yeah, that's not
package.
good.
I'm circumcised, but on that night, it looked like I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? It was just nothing doing in my favor. So anyway, we're sitting there eating dinner, and you know how they got the big glass walls looking out onto the field at some stadiums. Some of the boys fully took off their clothes and ran onto the field. Two of them, I think, and they ended up getting suspended for the first 2 or 3 weeks from playing. So they didn't even get to play because they did this nudie run because it was a club. So there were other like patrons there trying to eat their dinner, and they just seen these dudes running around the field butt ass naked. I'm just like, yeah, that's why I'm not. I don't get it. I don't see the fascination with doing shit with no clothes on.
I feel like the majority of nudie runs really only happens when intoxication is in full effect. I don't really believe a nudie run is like a fully sober thing.
Right.
For the majority of nudie runs.
For the majority. Yeah, that's right.
I feel like your judgment kind of needs to start going out the window to even consider it.
You have to have none. I mean,
I feel like that's a catalyst.
Can you claim something like that you practice nudism? Like, is that a thing?
Yeah, I mean, there's
Because they
there's
can't-
nudist colonies in the world, sure.
They can't question that, can they? If it's a religion,
No, they can't. If it's a
They can't?
religion.
Well, that's a good point.
they can't. Yeah. Well, hey, damn it! I wonder how many people I've provoked. Shit.
Fuck. Well, I mean, look, if Scientology is a religion, certainly nudism.
What's that?
is
What's
a
that
religion
one
at this point.
where the dude wears like a spaghetti strainer on his head?
The religion?
I think that
Yeah, it's
is that the one that's it came. I think it came from Reddit. Is that the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster?
Yes, the
that
Church
came
of the
from Reddit
fucking
community?
Flying Spaghetti Monster.
Yeah,
That's correct.
Yeah,
And you can't wear hats.
although they were denied their status.
No,
I should
not
point
not
out.
the first time.
Oh, they
or-
were? The
early
Church
on.
of the Flying Spaghetti Monster was denied their status.
Can you believe it?
Hey,
Well,
man,
I'm shocked.
Can you believe it?
Don't upset the meatball god. Okay,
They're like,
Well, yeah.
sir, you're wearing a colander.
he was, but because it was his religion, he was allowed to wear it in the courthouse.
They're like, sir,
I
Yeah.
remember
we
that
can't
video
sanction
clip.
this.
Take that dude serious.
He did actually he did wear it. They allowed him to.
Yeah, and then Tom Cruise comes in
Fuck
after it to
me.
plead his case, and they're just like, "Well,
Also
this
wearing a
kind of makes
colander.
sense."
He's like, hey, he stole my colander idea.
Damn it, plagiarism.
Oh shit! All right, fellas, listen. So we're an hour and 15 in, so just to make sure that this was said on the podcast, all you dads in Australia, we hope you had a really great Father's Day.
True
Yeah,
that.
happy Australian Father's Day, guys.
That's right.
Yeah, man.
Thanks, man.
Some of the best fathers
I
in the
had
world.
a good one, and
Yes,
100%,
that's right. That's why I came here.
and some probably not so much.
No.
But yeah, hope your Father's Day was sweet, and I definitely had a good one this morning, and then it's going to continue after this podcast. Wayne, I hope you're having a good one, and it continues after this podcast.
Yeah, we'll do.
I'm sure it will.
Yep.
By the time you're listening to this podcast, it'll be the day after Father's Day. So again, hope you had a great one. So Zane, brother, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for taking the time
Yeah,
You're
man.
welcome.
to come on to the show.
Yeah,
man.
for sure.
Like
You're
seriously,
so
it
welcome.
was great having you.
It's a lot of fun.
And
I was looking
fucking
forward to
keep
this
doing
one
what you're doing, man. Yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
for a long time. Ever since you said it was coming on.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude. Keep doing what you're doing, man. And best of luck with. I mean, obviously, you'll kick COVID soon enough, man. You're already 9 days in.
Yeah,
It'll pass,
I'll be
dude.
fine.
And then you'll be out there again.
Yeah.
You'll be out there touring again, doing your thing, and we know you're gonna do well.
Thanks,
so,
guys.
Yeah, bro.
Thanks so much. And
Is there anything that
Folks,
that
we're
you
gonna-
wanted to plug before we
Yeah,
no, just
yeah.
follow
So,
me.
Zane,
Follow me
please, yeah.
online. Sign up on my website. Order my merch. Follow me on Instagram at Zane Helberg.
at Zane
At Zane Helberg everywhere. Go to my website zanehelberg.com. Yeah, that's it. Follow me.
TikTok as well.
Did
Yeah,
you
sure. Or
find out
TikTok as well.
Did you find out from that chick that you posted last week about how to make drawings out of words on your page that you write in your diary? I saw earlier today. You were doing a bit, and this chick was saying how she writes in her diary. I'm like, oh, do you draw?
Oh,
And she's like, no, I just write words, but they turn into pictures.
oh,
And
so
you're
that was
like,
that was a that was a riff. That was a riff that I was doing
Yeah.
with this girl in the audience. Yeah, so she so what I gather is that she draws words, right? And scribbles in cursive these words, and it turns in, and she just keeps writing these words, and then all of a sudden an image emerges out of this in some sort of dark art version thing. I don't know. I haven't seen any of it.
oh,
ever.
right. I thought you would have hit her up.
Oh no, no, I would not have. I definitely did not hit her up. I think if she follows me, that'd be awesome. That'd be very cool. I don't know if she does or not, but yeah, I hope. I mean, I will. I'm going to be back in Phoenix in November. Hopefully, she'll come back to the show, and I'll get an update, and I'll post about it.
Sick.
I got a good military friend that lives out in Phoenix, so I'll make sure I pass your name on to him,
Oh hell yeah!
so that if there's any shows that he comes
Yeah.
to see you.
Yeah,
'cause,
dude.
I'm actually going to be in Phoenix in a week and a half with Nathan Hurd. Nate is
Really? Okay.
Nate's putting a show
yeah.
on in Mesa. He sold a few tickets. Anyone who can come out to that, it would be much appreciated. But that'll be a
There you go.
very good small show. And if you can't make it in a week and a half, I'll be back there in November, and there'll be one or two shows on like a Thursday night, and they'll both be pretty sold out. So it'll be a lot of fun.
for sure, man.
Fuck yeah. All right, man. Well, yeah, it's just, congratulations on everything. And I remember coming up with you years ago in LA, and you've found your place. You found your place in comedy, dude. And that's no small feat.
Thank you.
not an easy thing to do. So
Yeah,
congrats to
Thank
you,
you
bro.
very much, gentlemen.
sure.
I really appreciate this. This is a good time.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, folks, we're going to end it there. Wayne and I will be back next week, and I will just make the announcement right now. Guess who is actually coming on next week?
Who that?
Guess what's happening?
Who there? Who that? Who there?
The
Who?
the Mad Dog himself.
Oh.
I'm not even joking.
Oh shit! We
There's a
tracked him
Mad
down,
Dog
haven't we?
reveal next
The
week.
Mad Dog himself will be
Oh.
on next week. Whether he reveals his true identity remains to be seen. I'm going to lean toward maybe not, depending on because I don't know what this
We'll
person
see.
does for a living. It could be like a CEO of a Fortune 500 company.
He better
Like,
not
I'm sure.
add like
It's the
naked
president
on
of Australia.
Yeah, it's the prime
The
minister.
prime
The
min-
prime
the prime
minister,
minister.
Scott Morrison.
No, but it's
Minister of
actually the
Australia.
president that's been hidden away. There is a president
Yeah, it's
after
Trump.
all.
I fucking love your podcast. But
He's naked the whole
So-
time. He's like, I
Yeah.
love
yeah, absolutely.
I love
So,
naked
folks, yeah,
podcasting.
next week, the Mad Dog himself
Shit.
has gotten in touch, and I have said, you know what? Yes, come on the show. And he apparently, we're gonna have a Tales from the Mad Dog session.
Why not, dude?
Mad Dog's got so many stories, dude. So
We'll just take the
we're
day
gonna have
off.
story time with Mad Dog.
Just sit back and listen.
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
So that's next week, folks. Stick around for that one. Stay tuned for it. And we are out of here.
That's right.
So peace out,
Peace out.
from all of us. We love
See
you.
ya.
Goodbye.